So Dupixent is a relatively new mass tort. On Hulu, which is unfortunately one of the streaming services I have where I watch commercials. I don't have the version where you don't see commercials. So I'm watching last night, and every time there's a commercial, it's Dupixent. And so now I think we've been involved in Dupixent, and now I'm seeing it on TV repeatedly. So what is Dupixent? Dupixent is an injectable drug that is given to treat eczema, which is a skin condition. You have a rash, an itchy rash that won't go away, and this is a drug that's going to treat it. So typically for a drug that's on your skin, you would get a cream and you just put it on and it works that way. The way they market Dupixent is that it works from within. So you get an injection in your body and then it starts healing up the rash from the inside out. So it probably is a good drug that works pretty well, but unfortunately what's been happening is it's been found to cause cancer. It's a very specific cancer that is part of this mass tort. Maybe it has other complications, but for this case, for this mass tort, there's a very specific cancer that it causes. It's Cutaneous T-Cell Lymphoma. So it's CTCL is the abbreviation. Here's the problem. People don't necessarily make that connection. So you're taking a drug and then you develop cancer. It's not common for people to make that connection on their own, and that's why these mass torts are so important. Here's how it works. The cancer that develops, this cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, presents itself on a person. The way you see it is it basically looks like eczema. So that is really a terrible consequence here because it confuses the patient. It even confuses the doctor because you have someone who's been diagnosed with eczema and they're being given a treatment. And in some cases, these cases that we have, that treatment is causing a cancer that looks just like eczema. So to the patient and to the doctor, they just think, oh, maybe it's not working. We'll give it some more time. We'll try something else. But they're not recognizing and realizing that it is cancer. And because of all this, the diagnosis is being delayed. And any delayed diagnosis is bad. In medicine, the general thinking is earlier diagnosis is better. In cancer cases, that's especially true because if cancer's not diagnosed and treated timely, it can spread. And that's when cancer gets worse and sometimes deadly, is when it spreads. So what's going on with the drug right now? What's going on with the mass tort? Well, it's in a very early stage, and it's actually in a situation where lawsuits are being filed throughout the country in different courts and federal courts and state courts, and there hasn't been an MDL, a multi-district litigation formed, and the lawyers, we haven't even made a motion to the courts, to the federal courts, to even begin an MDL. That's the first step in the process, is to make a request to a federal court to actually start a mass tort, a multi-district litigation, and we're not even there yet. But there are cases being filed, and there's still research being done. So as far as the medicine goes with this drug, there are studies that do connect this drug to the cancer that it's causing. So there's medical support for it. The theory in the case is that the manufacturers of Dupixent have failed to warn potential consumers, people taking the drug, that this cancer could possibly happen and can be caused by this drug in certain circumstances. And that really is the whole case, because if somebody would see that warning and know that, hey, maybe I could develop a cancer that looks like eczema, people would be more vigilant and concerned if the condition wasn't getting better. They say, hey, maybe it is cancer. The doctors may think that. But because this significant warning, this warning that, hey, this drug may cause this cancer, doesn't exist, it makes it even worse.